Happy New Year, Leo. Welcome to your January 2022 astrological forecast. The month is starting off with Mercury in Aquarius. Okay, on the 2nd, Mercury moves into Aquarius, your opposite sign, where you have Aquarius in your chart as your 7th house of close relationships, friends, romantic partners, business partners. This is the house of like contracts and agreements. If you wanted to change anything about any kind of arrangement that you have with someone. One of the kind of people that I just mentioned, even a friend, right? This would be the time to do it. Okay, Mercury moves into Aquarius on the 2nd, and then it turns retrograde like on the 14th. And like declines in degrees to the point where it falls back into Capricorn on the 25th. So whatever kind of conversation that you start to get into at the beginning of the month, make sure you're very explicit. Make sure you, whomever you're speaking to, clearly understands whatever it is you're trying to say. You know, that they're not just getting the gist of it, or they're listening. Make sure they're listening. When this planet turns retrograde, first of all, whatever planets you have, the sun, the rising sign, or any other planets that you have in Leo, will be, like Mercury will be directly across from them, okay? Creating an opposition, and actually the sun will be doing this on the 19th. From the 19th on, eventually Venus and Mars will also move there, okay? But for now, you just have Mercury, the big communicator, right? So this is like the best time to get whatever it is off your chest. You know, there's like a new moon on the 2nd in the sign of Capricorn. Okay, where you have Capricorn in your chart is your 6th house. This house has been like flooded with planets for the longest time, but now the only really major planet that's here is Pluto. It's still here, okay? So there's been an awful lot of changes in the kind of work that you do. Okay, the workplace period, your co-workers, that's what the 6th house governs, okay? Your work schedule, it is your house of health, so even that may have changed in some way or other, and it could be due to the kind of work that you do. You know, there could be something like that. I've always mentioned, especially when Saturn was here, like never to do anything at work that you wouldn't normally do, that wasn't normally part of your job, such as climbing ladders or lifting heavy things or moving, so whatever, working around chemicals, or if you're like in the medical field, you know, being around liquids like blood or urine, whatever, you know what I mean, to pour off. Sometimes I've seen like hospitals do this where they want you to do like a clerical job, but then they're trying to get you to touch stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with your job, okay? So something like that, you know, could have been some kind of change through that, okay? But the sun is here up until the 19th, and Mars will actually be moving here on the 24th. Now, Venus has been here like, what, since November, I believe, and it's in retrograde motion, but it turns direct on the 29th, but it's in your 6th house, and I think I might have mentioned that sometimes it makes you really attracted to sweets or stuff that isn't good for you. You know, maybe be doing like a little bit of too much drinking, too much eating, or just partying, period, with Venus here. But it is creating really nice relations with like your co-workers, and even your employer or a boss, you know, somebody, or a client even, you know, could decide that they really, really like you. So that's where your focal point is right now. But with Mercury being here at the very beginning of the month around that new moon, same date, Mercury moves in to Aquarius on the 2nd, and the new moon's on the 2nd in your 6th house, right, of work. So maybe you are starting something new, a new assignment, could be a new job, could be some kind of new arrangement. The 6th house is also the house of service, okay, service to others. But what that means is, the way I see it, is someone needs your help. They need a favor. They need you to do something for them, and in return, they're offering to do something for you. So you both benefit in some way or other, okay? So it's some kind of an arrangement or setup that you have with someone. And it could be, you know, that's maybe what you're discussing with one of your close relationships. You know, or any kind of an arrangement, actually, that you would like to change. If there's something about your relationship with someone that you feel needs, like, addressed or whatever, this would be the time to do something like that. But as far as this new moon goes, though, I believe it's like a new beginning, either in the workplace, the kind of work that you do. You know, Pluto being here for as long as it has been sometimes gradually changes your life in some way or other. Sometimes there's these definite, like, accidents especially are related to Pluto. Things like car accidents, guns, firearms, things like that. Large machinery, you know, so... but a lot of times after Pluto has been in a certain area, when you look back to when, let's say, like, this planet first moved in there, and then you look at, like, how your life is in that area now, they're like nothing alike. It's completely changed, but you may not have noticed that the change until, like, now. You know, if this were happening, like, usually in your first house, when you have Pluto in your first house, and it's a long transit, by the time the transit is over, you are nothing like you used to be. In fact, you may not even recognize that person to an extent. That's how much you change. But like I said, it's usually gradual. So that could be something that's going on here right now, because you do have the planet Uranus, okay, in your 10th house of your career. That's where you have the sign of Taurus, and that's where Uranus is right now. And it's actually turning direct on the 18th. It's been retrograde, so maybe you haven't been getting any forward motion when it comes to, let's say, like, your career. You know, maybe you were trying to find some new way of earning a living. Like, even if you are retired or you just don't work at all, you don't need to or whatever, you know, there's still something that you do, or you have a source of income coming in somewhere, okay? So you would be doing, even if you do it for fun, even if it's some kind of hobby that you enjoy doing, you are more than likely bringing in some money from that very thing, okay? So having Uranus in your 10th house does mean that, like, you would possibly be changing your career, and it could be something totally different than anyone would ever expect you to do. It could be similar possibly to something you've done in the past, or it could be like just a totally, completely different. But what it is it's something that you've always really wanted to do. That's what Uranus does, is it brings the true you to the surface. And even people are surprised at themselves. You know, they never realized that they were like that interested in certain things, whatever. So that could actually be going on for you right now at this time, with planets in your 6th house of the workplace, and the planet Uranus turning direct on the 18th. I think there's something going to be happening there, like in your career, or your actual job, or just like the kind of work that you do. I think it's changing in some way or other, okay? Now, Mars is still in Sagittarius up until the 23rd. And where you have Mars is your 5th house. It's in your 5th house of romance and fun, okay? Sagittarius being a fellow fire sign, this is like a great placement for anything actually, okay? But you are the natural ruler of the fifth house, so all of the things that this house governs is like come very natural to you, okay? So having fun, romance, okay? Creativity, amusements of any kind, um, like talents, like especially acting and drama, okay? Because you can be the drama queens of the zodiac, okay? But a thing about you though is you always look good. You would never go outside without makeup or looking the way you're dressed or something or other. You're always very aware, of your appearance and how important it is a good idea to look good. Okay, well, at least it makes you feel better. You don't do that for other people, you do it for yourself, right? So anyways, having Mars here means that you could have been really making up for lost time by actually having some fun, attending a party or two just because the holidays were around, and maybe you were actually able to get together with some people, even though the COVID is still around and everything. There are still some gatherings that you can attend without really, if you're careful, right? So this is also the house of speculation and gambling. You may have felt like doing something like that. But you could just really be very set on creating something right now. That could be another thing, like when it comes to your sixth house of the kind of work that you do in your 10th house of your career. So you may actually have made something with your own two hands, or you have written something like a play or music even, okay, that you are seriously thinking about like pursuing, going into that field. Okay, so like Mars will move on the 23rd into Capricorn, so it's going to be in your sixth house along with other planets, okay? So we're going to have Mars and Pluto together, and that a lot of times is very powerful kind of energy. You know what I mean? You want to say people could come out fighting, swinging. Whatever. They're both of these planets are Scorpio planets. They're ruled by Scorpio. Okay. But Mars is the planet of war. It's also the ruler of Aries. Okay, so planet of war, and Pluto is the planet of like the underworld, things that are hidden. Many, many things, both of these planets. I'm just like really summing it up actually. But when these two planets travel together, there can be a lot of aggression, big time aggression. So that is what may be in store for you a little bit in the workplace when Mars moves here on the 24th. Okay, so you might want to keep that in mind, that like maybe things are going real nice now, with your coworkers or your boss or the company you work for or something like that. But when these planets are going to get together, it's could be a little bit explosive. Okay, especially when the sun moves into Aquarius on the 19th and your 7th house. Okay, so with Mercury, like I said, still being there and everything, this is when you could be trying to make some kind of new arrangement, a new agreement, and it could be in regards to work, employment of some kind, something like that. Okay, so the new moon, back to the new moon on the 2nd in Capricorn in your 6th house could be like a time where, you are trying something new, trying out something, even if it's a new schedule, or you're you're working in a different department, something or other. Okay, so it brings new beginnings, new moon, right? So there's new things happening. It's the beginning of the year. So that's when people make a lot of changes. Employers make a lot of changes at the beginning of the year. Okay, start the year off that way. there's a full moon on the 17th in the sign of Cancer, and where you have Cancer in your chart is your 12th house. And this is the house of like hidden matters, behind the scenes actions taken by you or someone else. This is also the house of the subconscious mind. This is dreams, where you dream. This is your psychic ability. This is secrets. It's the house of secrets and confidences. So because this is occurring in a house that's hidden, more or less, you know, you could just kind of like stumble across something about anything, actually. But considering it's right across from your 6th house of the workplace and all that, I'd have to say maybe you could find out something about a coworker, a boss, your company, even the building you work in, or even if you're working at home. Something just going on with work. And if it's not work, this could be back to the, like I said, service to others, some kind of arrangement that, or contract. It is a verbal contract in a way, okay, that you are making an agreement with someone to do something, and I would hope that you would have them agree to do something for you also, okay. Now, Jupiter has moved into Pisces, where you have Pisces in your chart as your 8th house. Neptune is already here. If you listen to my videos, you'll know I always warn you guys about checking your, making sure that you check your credit card statements and your bank accounts and stuff like that, because anything, especially identity theft, could be real big on your list here, just due to Neptune being in this 8th house. So it's a beautiful planet, but it rules illusion. Okay, pulls the wool over your eyes, right? With Jupiter here, both of these planets traveling together do bring out the guru in you. I did do a video on Jupiter in Pisces, and I did take into consideration that Neptune was there at the same time. Okay, so you, this 8th house is the house of rebirth and regeneration, the phoenix rising from the ashes. So this could be a whole new transformation for you in some way or other. But basically, though, this is a money house. Okay, it's passive money. It's money coming to you through means other than earning it. So you could be on the receiving end of something really nice the whole time that this transit is here. But I would just have to warn you to not get sucked in by any kind of charities, or a person even that is wanting you to donate or help out in some way, some kind of cause, you know, a worthy cause or whatever, because I would have to say that they're really preying on your sympathies. And again, these two planets together do bring out, like I said, the guru brings out a very spiritual side to you, okay, to anyone, wherever it's occurring in their chart. And yours just happens to be in a money house that is other people's money and resources. So it's not just yours, it's other people's also. So just be very careful that you are not talked into parting with any of your money for a good cause, okay? So the best time to do something each month is when the moon is in your own sign, and the moon is in Leo on the 18th, 19th, and 20th. The best time to lay low is when the moon is in your opposite sign, and your opposite sign is Aquarius, and those days are the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 31st. The best time for romance, recreation, creativity, fun, any kind of gambling or speculation, and anything to do with children is the 13th, 14th, 15th, 27th, and 28th. The best time for money is the 6th, 7th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The best time for your career is the 10th, 11th, and 12th. And the best time for communication and travel is the 8th, 9th, 10th, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So I hope you enjoyed your astrological forecast for January already. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful beginning of the year and a good fortune throughout the rest of this year. Be sure to, first of all, I'd like to thank my subscribers for coming back and supporting me the way that you guys do all the time. But if this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, where you will be notified each time I upload something. And also, check out my weekly forecast and check out my Ask Me a Question. Excuse me, it's in the description box below. It's for people who only want to know a few things about their chart and not necessarily have their whole chart done. But if you would like to have your entire chart done, there's a link there also to my website where you can see a list of services there that I offer. Okay, so Happy New Year again, and happy a whole rest of the year actually. And I will see you next week. Goodbye.